We have Donna Tinnin, and she is from the Cherokee Nation representing today, and we'll be talking about the community garden and seed bank program that they have. So let's welcome her to the stage. Let's all put our hands together. Yay! We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
I'll give you 30 minutes to stop. Just 30. That's all I'm going to give you. So welcome, everybody. It's nice to see everybody here this afternoon. As she said, my name is Donna Tinnin. I am with the Cherokee Nation, and I'm with the Cherokee Nation Cultural Tourism Group. So as you can see on the slides, I'm presenting on ethnobiology. That's a hint, okay? That's a hint to, I'm presenting for our Natural Resources Department, who could not be here today. So I'm gonna do the best I can and just ask y'all to just bear with me as I go through this. Okay, our first slide here is, as you'll notice on the top of the slide, is a word in Cherokee. And in that word means alihi listi. And alihi listi means a place where good things happen. And this is an aerial view of our, we call it the community garden, but that's really not a good descriptor of the garden. It's actually our seed bank and native plant garden. And it is located in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, which is our capital of the Cherokee Nation. And it's 6 acres, and you can see there's some tribal designs in the plantings there. This is obviously when there's no plantings at the time. Okay, so I really can't talk about the seed bank program without giving you a little bit of history. Cherokee Nation is located in northeastern Oklahoma. But when we talk about our ancestral homelands, we're talking about our home in the southeast. And prior to forest removal, the Cherokee's domain was 256 million acres located in the states of Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and West Virginia. So I really invite you to visit the exhibit up on the second floor, which is the Trail of Tears exhibit. It will give you an overview of the history of the forced removal of the Cherokees along with several other tribes. And when I refer to our southeastern homelands, when I refer to our ancestral homelands, this is the area that I am referring to, okay? So see, this is our area that we did inhabit. After removal, if you can see it, the slide that says today, that's where we are. We are in northeastern Oklahoma, and we cover about 14 counties, all of them in some areas, and then just a partial of the counties in some other areas. So when we're talking about the seed bank program, we have to talk about why we started it, which I'll get into that here in a little bit. But you have to realize that after removal, think about being uprooted completely from your homelands. You had to leave everything, only what you could grab at the time to take with you. The Cherokees are an agriculturally based tribe, and so leaving that environment and moving to a new one was quite the challenge, and has been the challenge now since 1839. We talk about in this slide where we were. We were in an eastern deciduous forest area, and then once we were removed, we came to a fringe of the Ozark Mountains, and also a cross timbers and tall grass prairie type ecosystem, which caused significant changes in the way we could grow and in our growing season and what would grow in that area. So after a lot of research, you can see there was quite a large climate change. When you're talking about in our eastern homelands, when you've got a maximum January temperature of 46.8, and in Oklahoma, we get a little bit colder there, and we get a lot hotter in the summertime, which really causes our growing season to be very, very difficult. And it causes the garden to require a lot of attention. So when we talk about, and it's kind of a misnomer, like I said, as a community garden, it's really not a community garden. It is truly a seed bank and native plant garden. So these are the two things we're going to be talking about is our seed bank activities and then our cultural forestry. And I thank the North Loop Family Farms. Thank you for leading into the seeds. If anybody was here for that program, he was talking about how important it is to gather your seeds, to keep your seeds, and that's where all of your crops and your native plants are coming from. Okay, so why would we start the seed bank program? Well, number one, I already said we lost a lot of our original ancestral seeds. So our seeds are called heirloom seeds because there are plants that were originated in our southeastern homelands. It was started in 2006, the garden was, and it started actually to preserve our language as well as our culture, and then also for genetic preservation of the seeds, because again, we lost a lot of our seeds. It's kind of interesting, and when I was meeting with the ethnobiology group, I said, so do you have volunteers that come in and help? And he was like, no way, no, there's no way we wouldn't let anybody touch these because they're so important and they're so difficult to grow in our area because they're used to a different climate. Currently in the garden we have over 100 native plants, and then we have 26 heirloom seeds. And this is our booth over here. Say hi to the lovely ladies at the OCO booth. Hello. I do have samples of our seed packets there, and so I would invite y'all to come over and have a look at those, okay? Oh, shoot. Vanna, our Vanna of Cherokee Nation is showing you our seeds. So we'll put a little dig in here to our friends in the Eastern Band, but the corn that we brought over, as you can see in this picture, actually grows better now in Oklahoma than it did in the East. This is an old saying that dates back to nobody knows when. Nobody knows where it originated, and it's been forever. And they said, no self-respecting Cherokee would ever be without a corn patch. So there you go. All Cherokees have corn. This is just a picture of some of the seeds in the seed bank. I hope y'all can see. I thought it was going to be a big screen, so I hope y'all can see it. I don't think our little laser, there it goes. You can't see it. Anyway, on the top left, that's one of the varieties of our corn, obviously. The one in the middle is beans. And the one on the top right is called Heirloom Squash. And on the bottom left is Gourds. And in the middle is tobacco. And over on the far right is called Sunchoke or wild potatoes. These are some of the varieties of our corn. Okay, let's talk a minute about the white eagle corn. And I do have a sample of this over at our booth. So the Cherokees brought, like I said, provisions to sustain them during the relocation process to the Indian Territory, which is now modern-day Oklahoma. We know for certain that the white eagle corn survived the Trail of Tears. So we know for certain. And it's a beautiful white and blue corn with a red cob. And as that was the corn that was in the picture with the young woman there. And like I said, we've got bragging rights now because it grows better in Cherokee Nation than it does in the Eastern Band. Although the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians gave us our initial seeds, now Cherokee Nation is the only tribe out of the 3 Cherokee tribes that have a seed bank program. This is a picture of the white eagle corn, and you can see at the top the white there represents the white eagle. And I did pull out a kernel for y'all to look at if you're interested over on our in our booth. Anybody ever had dog's head soup? No? Okay. Me either. But I love the humor of our ethnobiologists. You can make dog's head soup without dogs, but you can't make it without beans. So this picture is very hard to see. I'm going to step over here just for a second, see if y'all can see it. So the beans are long, and the dog's head soup is actually a bean dumpling type soup. And it's made out of Ozark Chinquapin, which is like a flour type, and I'll show you a picture of that as we get closer. This is our squash, and it's called Heirloom Squash, and you have to think about this, that our squash, this squash here, will stay unrefrigerated for up to a year, which was very important. There was no refrigeration, prior to European contact, or even up in the, 1400s, 1500s, and 1700s, there was no refrigeration. So this squash will actually stay on the shelf for up to a year. I actually had some in my pantry and never got around to cooking it, but it's really, really good. A really neat thing about our seed bank program is we have it's another Cherokee Nation program. It's a restaurant called the Kawi Cafe, and they share some of the squash with the restaurant, and they make great squash casserole. So it's kind of a Cherokee fusion food with the heirloom squash. So it's a real treat for visitors that come in and are able to have a chance to sample that lovely squash casserole. Okay, this is just a sample of one of our gourds. I've got about 4 different varieties of gourds over at the table that you can have a look at. And we don't necessarily use the gourds anymore for utensils or anything like that, but what we use them for now is for art. And so another one of our Cherokee Nation programs is the Cherokee Art Center. It's an artist incubator program. And so once the seeds are harvested, because again, that's what our garden is for, is to harvest the seeds so we can share. Then they give the gourds to the Cherokee Art Center, and they can use it and give away and do cultural classes and art classes with the gourds. This is our native tobacco plant. And we're the only place right now that grows our native tobacco, and that's in the garden. This is the sunchoke, but we call it wild potatoes. It's kind of the consistency of like a water chestnut. So not really so much like a potato, but they'll share that with our Cherokee Heritage Center that offers different types of traditional meals from time to time, and they'll share that with them so that visitors will have a chance to sample traditional foods. So those are the varieties of the seeds that we harvest and then give out to our citizens. This is a picture of our Secretary of State, and he's on the left, Chuck Hoskin Jr., and then our Secretary of Natural Resources, Sarah Hill, and they are packaging up to mail out the first set of seeds in the 2018 growing season. Just a PSA on the seed bank program. I know y'all can't read that. So let me just tell you a little bit that since 2006, when they first planted the garden, obviously there were no seeds. So far in 2018, they have produced close to 5,000 seed packets. And the seeds are provided to any Cherokee Nation citizen. You do not have to live in our tribal jurisdictional area in Oklahoma. No matter where you live, as long as you're a Cherokee Nation citizen, then we will provide you a seed packet. The seeds are available the 1st of February, and they only last for about 45 days. That's how many, it's a very, very popular program with our Cherokee citizens. Okay, moving on to Cherokee Cultural Forestry. These ain't no trees, in case y'all didn't figure that out. Those aren't trees. So when you think about forestry, I think about large trees. Well, for Cherokees, we really use more of what is below the surface in the forest rather than the trees themselves. It's a different kind of forestry for us. Now we're going to play a game. Name these plants. All right, who's a horticulturalist, ethnobiologist out there? Does anybody know what that is? That is the eastern red cedar. Yeah, and originated in our homelands, but it does grow in Cherokee Nation now in Oklahoma. Okay, we'll see how y'all do with the next one. You get a 0 for that, by the way. You'll get it. I know you'll get it. Might know what that is? We're thinking ding, 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 ding. Nope, okay. Tobacco. That is tobacco. And like I said, our native plant garden is the only place now that grows the tobacco, our traditional heirloom tobacco. What do you think? Y'all are thinking. Nothing? Okay. American ginseng. Yeah. Okay, I'm with you. Like I said, not an ethnobiologist. It's like American ginseng in Cherokee Nation. Okay. But it was, we don't have it now in Oklahoma. It was from our southeastern homelands, and we don't have it. But it is one of the most requested from the elders now. All right. Y'all are striking out. I'm so disappointed. Not really. Okay. That, just a guess. Anybody take a guess? Peppermint? Maple tree? Is that what you said? Good guesses. Thank you for participating. I wish I could say there is a participation award. You get OCO lip balm. Just see us over there at our booth. Everybody gets a prize today. This is Golden Seal, and we do have that in Cherokee Nation. Okay, y'all are doing good. How about that one? Any guesses? No, it's on the tip of your tongue. All right, this is Prairie Willow. And now it is almost extinct in Cherokee Nation in Oklahoma. There's only 2 places where it's growing. And this plant is used for our ceremonial grounds. Okay, well, how about that one? This is hard. What? 4 leaves? What did you think it is? Leaves. Good answer. You get a lip balm. All right. Good try. It's New Jersey tea, red root, and it is available in Cherokee Nation. Good try. All right. How about that one? No, I see those puzzled looks on your faces. This is called the Rattlesnake Master. And it's also called the warrior's plant. Pardon me? Thank you for asking. That's just what I'm getting ready to do, but I can't share everything with you. So those preceding plants that we just talked about, those are all used in the ceremony. And Cherokees don't share ceremony. So yeah, but that's what all, those are called the 7 sacred plants of the Cherokee. Yeah, so good question. Now, these plants that I'm getting ready to show you are used for medicine and for dye. So we will use the dye for some of our basket reed. We have both flat reed and then we have natural basket reed such as honeysuckle and buckbrush. And so we'll use some of these upcoming plants for that. Okay, we're going to play again. Y'all did good last time. Name these plants. Do we know what this one is? It's called Sweet Everlasting. It's an astringent used for colds. And it is available now in Cherokee Nation. That one? Okay, this one is called Bloodroot. And I love when I'll back up. It's used for medicine. And then it's also used for dye for basket reed. So I have to take a little break here for a second and tell you one of our Cherokee National Treasures, which is a master in their art form. She is one of our basket weavers. And we just had a little art show for them and for their mentoring program. And she was loading up her car and she had some of this bloodroot. It's the root underneath is what makes the color. And she just had it laying on the back of her car. And, you know, she's an elder. And I said, Thelma, you've left your bloodroot on the back of your car. And she's like, let me run back there and get it. I don't want to lose that. Because it's very hard to find. And you really have to know what you're looking for. And, you've got to go harvest it. Okay. Does anybody know what that is? It's a May apple. And so the leaves themselves are toxic, but there's a little fruit that grows on those, and that is what is used for medicine. Some of y'all have to know, this is a hint, that brown on the side is rocks in a little stream. Anybody from the country? Oh, you are. It's watercress. Yeah. Don't give up. You're going to get one. This is watercress. And so it does grow in small streams in Cherokee Nation. And this was a real treat for me when I was a kid. We would go out with, my parents trying to find it, bring it home, and then we like grease. It's not the healthiest thing, but my mom would come back and make wilted watercress, and it's just bacon grease poured over watercress. Now you get these fancy little watercress salads. But back in the day, we wilted that sucker with bacon grease, and it was good. But what's very interesting about it, when I was going over this presentation with the ethnobiologist, I was like, oh, yeah. And he goes, that's not native. It's not native to us. He said it was even brought before 1492. So we have to believe that the Vikings introduced that. Yeah. Go figure. Okay. That's kind of a hard picture to see. Y'all know what that is? It is huckleberry, which is wild blueberries. And one of our communities in Oklahoma has a whole festival. It's called the J. Huckleberry Festival. And we even have a huckleberry queen. You might know what that is. What is that? Grass. It's the best kind of grass. It's a wild onion. Yeah, you knew. You had it. You get 2 chapsticks. And maybe even a pen. Since you got that one. Yeah, this is wild onion. And if the wild onion doesn't have any sun, it stays in that form of a wild onion. But if it gets a whole lot of sun, it's wild garlic. And so the wild onions are very much a delicacy for us, and they are just what they said, they just grow wild. And so in the spring when they're harvested, you'll see everybody, you know this, driving along the road, and they've got them cleaned up and put them on their car hoods, and you just go buy your wild onions, take them home, and mix them with eggs, and you got your wild onions and eggs. Good stuff. Reminds you of what? Chives, yeah. Yes. That's a little too fancy for us, but it does remind you of chives. Yeah, they're very good. Might know what this is? This is called the American basket flower. And this would be used to make our blowgun darts, for our blowguns. Yeah, we'll talk about what we make the blowguns out of. Do you want me to wait on that one? You want to take a picture of it? Okay, it's pretty. You bet. See, we're just talking up here. We're just having a good time. Okay. It's hard to see, but this is actually 3 pictures. The one in the middle is a plant we're talking about, and I'll let you all guess what the one on the left is and the one on the right is, up in that right corner. So does anybody know what this one is over on the left? It's got 3 leaves. It's bad, bad, bad. You got it. Man, we got to give you lots of pins and stuff. This one is poison ivy on the left, and the one on the top is what? No, it's not bad. We just think it's bad. What? 5-leaf 5? That's it. Yeah. Oh no, are you an ethnobiologist? Oh darn, I was hoping none of you people would show up for this. Okay, and so then the one in the middle is called jewelweed. And so that is used to shrink poison ivy when you get poison ivy on your skin. So that's the type of medicine that jewelweed would be used for, would be for poison ivy. Y'all are good. Okay, does anybody know what that is? Mr. Ethnobiologist that just sat down in the back. You got it. Wow, I'm impressed. It's full of arsenic, just so you know. And so the Cherokees would have used it for viral infections and blood thinner. You don't need to go to the doctor for that. Okay, this, anybody have any idea? It's called Ozark Chinquapin. And that, remember we talked about the dog's head soup and the flour that we made for the dumplings? That's what it's made from. We use it as a food. I'm sure there's some medicinal purpose for it too. Ah, yeah. Do you might know what that is? What'd you say, it's pretty? Yeah, it is, it's called Wishy. And it grows on a tree. You can see the moss down there at the bottom, and but it's called Wishy. It's a mushroom. We fry those suckers up too, and those are good. You know, anything you fry or put bacon grease on, it's excellent. So, but yeah, those are highly sought after. So in the spring, when you hear people say, "I found my Wishy," it's like, you sharing it? I was like, no, it's hard to find. Everybody know, y'all know what that is. Yep, Maurel. All right, yep, Maurel mushrooms. Those grow in Cherokee Nation too. Hard to find, but definitely grow in Cherokee Nation. How about this one? It is a mushroom. Excellent job. Do you know what it's called? A fuzzy mushroom? That's exactly what it's called. How did you know? It's also known as owl's head, but it is a fuzzy mushroom, yes. Okay. So all of those that we just had that fun game with, those are all, you know, a sample of our non-wood forest projects, because like we said, you know, we didn't have many chainsaws in 1492. Okay, we're going to talk about something totally changing the subject here, but now we're going to talk about our river cane project. And we talked about the plant that we make the blowgun darts with. Well, river cane is what we actually make our blowguns with, and they're also used for basketry too. And so in 2008, this was the very first native plant that was planted in the seed bank garden. And this is our lovely person that directs this program. His name's Pat Gwynn, that could not be here. And he says it ain't easy planting. This was after 2 years. I'll walk over here and show you. Those little sprouts coming up there, that's the actual river cane. And that's after 2 years. Now that's what it looks like in 2013. It's even greater than that. So it's great to have these native plants because they're very important to us. We, not me, wrote a book. So if anybody is interested, as long as you're a Cherokee citizen, sorry, non-Cherokees, we will give that book to you for free. So if you would like that book for free, contact Feather Smith. And I'll have this information over at the booth too. That's it for me. So I will open it up to any questions that I may or may not be able to answer. Yes, sir. Okay, you want to...
Question. I was just wondering about the contact between the Eastern Band of Cherokee and the Oklahoma branch.
The contact. Okay, so
you know, culturally interchange things.
Currently, like okay, great. So the question is about, and we'll divert to a little bit of history. And I don't know if you were sitting here earlier when I first started, but I would invite you to go up on the second floor. We just opened in April a Trail of Tears exhibit, and it gives you a great information about where we were, where we are now, and the history of all of that. But there are 3 federally recognized Cherokee tribes. There's the Cherokee Nation that was relocated to current-day Oklahoma, our Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, which is in Cherokee, North Carolina, and then the United Kituah Band is actually in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, too. So we have a great relationship now, I would say, that we meet together to preserve language, because you have to think about, early, you didn't know how to say computer, you know how to say seed bank, you know, so they really get together to do language conservation and preservation. And also, we all 3 come together here in this very facility every year in April for Cherokee Days. And so that way we really tell about the differences between those of our Eastern Band and our Southeast brothers and sisters, and those of us in Oklahoma. So we have a good relationship now. We also have a tri-council, and so all 3 tribal councils get together every year. So yeah, we work together to still, you know, move forward everything about our language and culture of the Cherokees. Mm-hmm. Good question. Now you'll have to get 2 pins. Anybody else? All righty. Thank you so much. Y'all enjoy the rest of your afternoon.